Hi everyone, welcome back to Prince and Nikki's channel. We just want to take you through today the casting of the first floor slab.
And also the detailed cost of how much we spent on the whole first floor slab. That includes the decking, the reinforcement and the concrete works.
If you haven't seen the previous video yet, you may wish to look at that one and return to this. The video just before this took you through how we created the decking and had all the iron rods installed prior to this.
So after you got all your iron rods, everything installed and ready for casting, there's a couple of things you need to make sure they are right. What you can see now on the screen is a checklist. You need to make sure those things are in place. First of all is a gantry, which will be lifting the concrete over. You must need to make sure that gantry is secure, well secured and installed. You need to use at least but very strong wood, because there have been instances whereby this gantry breaks when you are pulling concrete up. So you need to make sure that gantry is well installed. Then you need to raise all your iron rods to the right level. Ideally, you want them to be in the middle of your slab. So you need to make sure they are all raised to the right level. Then you check all your plumbing levels. Make sure everything is right. The flow in terms of the faults are right. After that, you need to book a carpenter to attend on the day of the casting, because there could be instances whereby you got some of the shattering opening, where it will help you put them back. Also, you need a plumber. You also need a concrete mixer. In our case, we went for 2 concrete mixers. Water is one of the important things. We have water on site, but with the amount of work we're doing, we don't think we can rely solely on Ghana water, so we have to buy water. Then your usual sand and cement. Make sure you got adequate sand and cement. Don't just buy because someone tell you need 100 or 200, but just buy a bit more, because you don't know how the mixing will go, because these are manual mixing. Then you need to agree the mixing ratio, how much sand to a bag of cement. You need to agree that with your foreman or your masons before they start. And then finally, you have to do safety checks on your gantry. Make sure everything is right. Then you are ready to go.
So here you can see they was having the water delivery in the morning before they started. I just want to give a big thank you to everyone who's been continually watching our videos and supporting us, engaging with us through the comments. It hasn't gone unnoticed, and we just want to give you a big thanks. If you could kindly like and subscribe to us, hit the button down below to subscribe. We'd really love for you to join us. So as you can see on the screen, they're now pouring the concrete. On the day we had 22 labourers and 4 masons. What we had was the 2 concrete mixers, and that was purely because with the ground floor slab, we made a decision that we wanted to have the 2 machines and cast the slab on the one day. It's better for the speed, but also the quality, isn't it? It doesn't have 2 days in joining, does it?
I think it's, if you're casting a floor, the house of this size, at least you're gonna use around 225 bags of cement. It's at a high level. You need a lot of men to move the concrete about, so it's very good just to get 2 machines.
Yeah, you don't have any joins as well, then, do you?
Yeah, and get your materials and just get on with it.
Yeah.
At times, people think it might be cheaper just to rent one concrete machine and just work the guys from morning till evening. But what happens in most cases is they'll end up not able to finish the whole floor. Then they have to come back the following day, rent the concrete machine again, pay for labor. So it's better to rent 2 machines, have the guys there, they do it for about 6-7 hours. They'll finish casting your floor, and then you know it's done, instead of trying to do it on budget.
Here you can see the stairs when they've been done. You'll see the bottom step there. As we talked about in our previous video, we didn't want the step to protrude out from the wall, so we're really pleased with how that ended up. It took a lot of time, didn't it, to sort the staircase out. We had to make some amendments on the stairs as we went through the project, which we would likely do a bit more detailed video on that.
Yeah, I think the key was we didn't want the stair to be a foot wide, and also we wanted it to be 10 flight to the half landing, then also 10 to the first floor. I guess we need to decide that opening where the beam rests on the landing, if we put in a window there or we're filling it up.
Yeah, there's lots. It's interesting because as the project's gone along, we've kind of come out with just different ideas. Like we're now at a stage where we're considering the hallway and the family room, aren't we? And we're kind of wondering, do we want to have a balustrade around the top and not have a wall, isn't it? So that
it's a beauty of cell build.
Yeah.
If you're actively involved. In this case, we sketched this building ourselves. So
it was time ago, wasn't it? As
yeah.
well, we did it some time ago.
Ideas keep changing, but as we said in the previous videos, you don't have to be scared of making the change. At least it's your house. You need to get it to the standard you want and the layout you want. So yeah, we still making changes.
Yeah, we're definitely thinking about some variances.
Yeah, I'm just showing a picture of where we put some sleeves through to pull our electric cable through to the first floor. Just
there on the left,
yeah.
You can see that, isn't it?
We didn't want to be chasing the beams when we finish, so we put some sleeves in to pull the cable up. This is the second day after the casting. The foreman went just to have a check to make sure everything is as it's meant to be, and good. There was no honeycomb sign of honeycombs. Everything looks great. So yeah, we were pleased to see the whole floor. One thing you have to say is this floor we casted, it was not your usual 6 inches. It ended up being around 8 inches, which is about 200 mil, instead of your 6 inches, because of the bigger iron rods that we use. Because of that, to ensure that we have the right coverage, minimal coverage of those 25 and 20 iron rods, the foreman has to increase the thickness of the slab to make sure everything have a well coverage according to the specification.
Yeah, and that was calculated in, wasn't it, with the design process?
Yeah, I think it made, that's why we use more concrete that we use on the ground floor. We end up using 225 bags of cement on this floor instead of 199 we use on the ground floor. But yeah, at the end we're happy of what we've got.
And we also had the concrete tested again, didn't we, when we came out?
Yes, we had a test again, and surprisingly, this concrete is more stronger than the ground floor. The test came back to be grade C40. On the ground floor, we had average grade of C25. And I asked the engineer, I said, why do we have two different readings? And he said it's because on the ground floor, there were a lot of bleeding, or whatever they call it, structural terms. So the water was going through into the ground. But here, because the metal formwork we use, all the concrete
didn't
water
seep through, did it? Yeah,
didn't seep through. So that's why the
much
content
more stronger.
Is more stronger. So yeah.
You can see the balcony there. It's nice to see the balcony shape, because obviously it's when it was it was the first shaping we've seen of it. But yeah, I'm really pleased with the outcome. It was nice to see the next floor, because you can get to see the bedrooms and the spaces, the area. So it was nice to see it.
Yeah, and in terms of the mixing ratio we use 1.25 wheelbarrow of sand to one bag. That was the ratio we agree with. So I think at the end, we're happy with what we've got to get something which is effectively a commercial grade of concrete. We're happy. Yeah, that's the window. I said, do we have a window there, or do we feel that small openings there?
We do have another large window above the landing. There's going to be another large window. That's another debate for us, isn't it? About do we want to change the style of the windows if we have it open hallway and some of the slightly different windows. But yeah, we're interested in the design stage of it, so we're always looking to make changes.
Yeah, I guess we just had some quotation back from the windows, and it will surprise you how expensive they are, because we're considering to go double glazing, and there is this company back home who do windows. They fail to German standards, and they are very, very expensive. They are quoted in the dollars. I think we'll do a video on that just to compare.
Different quotes, because now we're getting to a stage where we're going to be looking at the roof, so we're getting quotes for the roof, we're getting quotes for windows, aren't we? So there's lots of quotes we can kind of set out to people so they have an understanding of the differences. Whilst we're talking about costing, we're going to take you through the first cost for the iron rods, reinforcement and plumbing for the upper floor. We did this in January 2023, and in terms of the total cost for the iron rods and the plumbing, the cost in British pounds was 4,817. In Ghana cedis it was 78,705, and in dollars that was 5,523.
The biggest cost drivers for our reinforcement was the 20 mm and the 25 mm that we use. The 25 mm were all high tensile iron rods, which in Ghana they call foreign. And these were the most expensive part of the reinforcement because of the large openings that we have in the kitchen area.
Yeah, we envisaged that would be a high cost based on the design feature that we had put in. It was always going to be the most expensive cost for the build, because when you compare the ground floor casting, that was a large chunk, but obviously the first floor casting plus the iron rods and the openings and the extra structural features we had to put in, it was an expensive cost. But also when we bought the rods, it was expensive, wasn't it?
It was expensive. At the time we buy this rod last year, December, it was around £9,000 a ton. They have since come down now to about 8,800. But the time we bought them, they were quite expensive. These works were carried out last year. This year, actually, January, the floor was installed and casted. So, yeah.
So in addition to the iron rods, the concrete casting costs that we had, again, this was in January, so the cost in British pounds was 2,487. In cedis that was 31,483, and in US dollars was 2,740. That included the cement, the sand, the stone, the concrete mixer,
the water, and
everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess what you'll be wondering, why do we tell you all this, and how useful is this information for you? The next table you will see, whereby we break the cost down in terms of cost per square meter. So if you know the area of your building or your floor, if you multiply that figure by the area, you should know approximately how much it will cost for your building or your floor.
So what you have on the screen now is the total cost for the first floor. What we've got in the left-hand side is the cost from the previous video. If you haven't watched that video, that was the metal formwork and decking, so pop back and have a look at that. The total cost for that, excluding the wire boards, was £1,783. Then in the total cost for the iron rods, reinforcement and plumbing was 4,817, and the first floor slab concrete, which was 8 inches thick, was 2,487. So that gave us a total of £9,087. Now, if you wanted that in cities, that's a total of 134,707. And then if you wanted that in dollars, that's 10,164. So that's the total cost of the first floor completed.
For those who are interested in the cost per square meter, as you can see above, the area of our slab is 202 square meters, and that is effectively about £45 a square meter, or $50 a square meter. This is the most useful information for you. For example, if you got an area of 150 meters squared, all you need to do in terms of budgeting is to multiply that by 45. That should give you approximate cost of around 6,748 for your slab. What you got to be mindful of using this cost per square meter is we use 20 mm and 25 mm. So if you're using just 16 and a 12 mm, yours might be slightly cheaper, but this should be a ballpark guide for you.
And also with the cost of materials, even if you over quantify, at least you're going to save money.
Yeah, definitely.
Always better to have some spare at the end.
Yeah.
Do let us know in the comments down below what your experience was when you're completing your first floor, or indeed in where you're at in terms of your project. Let us know how you're preparing and planning for your casting and what are your findings in terms of quotes for windows and roofs. There's so much out there. It's good to share information of companies that you've found. What I do want to do is give a big shout out to a few of our followers. They've been with us for quite a while, commenting, and just want to say that it doesn't go unnoticed. Bright and Clara's channel, Sparkles, Foxy GTV, Victor, Gladys Johnson, Gidjo, Kenny, Ganaba Kweku and Gemini Mac. We just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for watching us. It doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you to all of the new subscribers that's been watching with us. Do give us a like, subscribe and follow us. We're happy that you're enjoying our journey, and we want to say thank you for watching us.
Thank you. For those of us who have sent emails, we haven't responded yet. We're just working through a lot of queries, so we will get back to you shortly.
Thank you very much for watching. Take care.
Bye.